Your Wi-Fi signal will get weaker and weaker the farther away you are from your router. So if your home office is on the other side of your house, or if you're just trying to stream TV in a back bedroom, then you might experience some slowdowns. That's where a Wi-Fi range extender like this one can really help. You plug it in, you pair it with your router, and then it rebroadcasts that signal further out into your home. So let's take a look at how your top options stack up. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through the range extender test that we do right here at the CNET Smart Home. I'm gonna identify the models that perform the best along with a couple of good value picks, and I'm gonna offer some tips on how to get the most out of extenders like these. Now keep in mind, they aren't a magic bullet. They aren't gonna solve every Wi-Fi woe. In some cases, you'll be a lot better off just upgrading to a mesh router, but we'll talk about that too. Let's start with the tests. The CNET Smart Home is a multi-story house of about 5,800 square feet, which is a lot of ground for a single router to cover on its own. Sure enough, when I set up an entry-level Wi-Fi 6 router upstairs, I found multiple dead zones down below on the basement level. That's exactly the sort of thing that range extenders like these are designed to help with, but which one would do the best job? To find out, I picked a good spot in the basement for my test extenders, adjacent to the dead zones, but not in the dead zones. That's important. Ideally, you want your extender to have a good connection with the router, so if it's sitting in the dead zone, it's not gonna do its job that well. With each extender up and running, I started testing speeds in 8 rooms throughout the house. The first 4 are up here on the main floor where the router is, and the last 4 are downstairs on the basement level. This graph shows you what the speeds look like with just the router, and you can see that things really fall off a cliff down in the basement. But now, let's see what happens when we add in our top performing range extender. There we go, much better. The extender's taking the incoming signal from the router, rebroadcasting it out into the basement, and eliminating those dead zones altogether. That top performing range extender was this one, the TP-Link RE605X. Available at most major retailers for $100 or less, the RE605X is a cinch to use, and it delivered the fastest average download speeds plus the fastest average upload speeds of all the extenders that I tested. And if you're using older gear in your home than my Wi-Fi 6 test laptop, don't worry. It did a great job when I ran the tests on a Wi-Fi 5 device as well. And that one wasn't the only model that performed well. This one, the Linksys Re7310, finished right behind TP-Link in those speed tests with average Wi-Fi 6 downloads that were only 4 megabits per second lower than the Re605X, and average uploads that were only 2 megabits per second lower. My only complaints here are that it's a little bit bulky as range extenders go, it doesn't have an Ethernet jack for wired connections, and it costs a little bit more than the Re605X. Still, if you catch it on sale, I think this one's a pretty great choice. As for the value picks, I liked this D-Link Eagle Pro AI range extender, which shouldn't cost you more than $65 or so. It wasn't as fast as TP-Link or Linksys, and the range wasn't quite as strong, but it was reliable and easy to use, and it comes at a decent discount, especially given that it supports Wi-Fi 6. Now, by default, most extenders like these are gonna put out a network that's separate from your router's network, maybe the same name but with EXT tacked onto the end. That can get a little annoying if you're moving about your house and you need to switch from one network to the other to get the best signal. Fortunately, all of my top picks make it really easy to change the extender's network name and password to match your router's. And once you do that, you'll have a single unified network that's automatically connecting you through the best device to give you the best signal. You should also keep an eye on security as you're setting these things up. For instance, this Asus model was a really strong performer in my tests, but I don't recommend it because it puts out an unsecured network by default. If you forget to change that, then any neighbor or stranger could hop onto your network. One last point. If you're dealing with multiple dead zones and you're living in a big house like this one, then you really want to consider making the upgrade to a mesh router. With multiple devices spread throughout your home, a mesh router is basically just a router with its own dedicated range extenders, and in almost all cases, it's going to be a much more effective option than going with plug-in range extenders like these. Still, if all you need is to eke out an extra room's worth of Wi-Fi coverage from your router, then a simple plug-in range extender might be all you need. For more on range extenders and on mesh routers, check out the CNET links in the video description down below, and don't forget to leave us a like if you found the video helpful and to subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks a lot for watching.